get it in a minute.
Get it, y'all. This is just how the day's going. Pray for us. His name is Jesus. No, it's in. Name is Jesus.
Praise God. Well, it's good to be in church today. I'm thankful that we didn't have any more water damage than what we had. And I think I told everyone down in the dining room in Bible study that the alarm company called me. I don't remember, maybe a little before 7 or somewhere right along in there, that the alarm had went off. And so I thought, well, hasn't anybody ever got breakfast ready this early before? And but I called in a little while. I kept trying to figure it out, and so I finally called Sister Terry. Her team was on for breakfast. I said, "Oh, you're not at church, are you?" She said, "No, not yet." So I began to looking in some of the cameras. We have cameras all the way around this church, inside and out. And so I could see that there was water in the back of the sanctuary and the carpet. I couldn't tell if it was a shadow but it looked like water to me. And so I told Brother Scott York about it. He was already at work, and he said, "I can see water in the foyer." And so I called Brother Talley and asked him to come up here, and sure enough, well, he said, "There's water still dripping out of the ceiling." And so I called Brother Durham. Brother Durham is made for situations like this right here. He fits he fits it to a T. Something like this happen, you can put him in charge of do something, get it fixed, and he'll get busy. He'll get it lined out. So he got ready right away and got up to the church and found a busted water line up in the apartment, and we kind of estimated that water's been running from that busted water line sometime after midnight last night. When the ceiling tiles fell through in the foyer, it took them a long time, I'm sure, to get soaked enough to fall out of the ceiling. That set off a sensor. We've got alarm. Not only do we have alarms on doors and windows, but we've got sensors in here that if you was in here and the alarm was set and you moved, a sensor would go off. And it'd catch you. And see that little white thing over there on that post above, almost to the ceiling? That's a sensor. If anything moved in here, it would set the alarm off. Well, there's sensors all over the place in here, and so there's sensors in the foyer. When them tiles fell, that set a sensor off. And I knew the alarm showed me a sensor went off, but I didn't know if it was a sensor to a door, or a sensor to a window, or if somebody was inside here walking around. I didn't know what it was. So I called the police and told them to come check. They called me back and said, all the doors are locked and everything seems to be secure, but they didn't notice, evidently, the water, about 3 inches of water standing in the foyer. And so I called Brother Talley and asked him. Bless his heart, he just happens to live closest to the church. So we lean on him to be the early arriver if we need somebody to get here. So he got ready right quick and ran down here, and then he called me back and said, "Yeah, this is water." And he said, "It's still dripping out of the ceiling." So I'd already called Brother Durham, and he was getting ready and changing out of his church clothes back into work clothes, and he got here and found the water line busted upstairs and got it shut off. And so he called Brother Matthew Durham, his son, and met him here, and then Brother Scott, as soon as he got through at the kennel, he headed this way. And so they've been working ever since they got here, trying to get this water cleaned up. But we've got water damage not only in the carpet behind, but in the foyer, the ceiling tile, the bathrooms, and the There's water in the bathrooms down down below in the dining room and in the apartment down there and the cake room. So, and the upstairs apartment was flooded, yeah. And so we'll get the insurance company adjuster out here this week and see what needs to be done. But anyway, I just really appreciate the fact that we've got men that can take a hold of a situation like this and get it under control as fast as they did, and we didn't have to cancel church today. And so, you know, at first I didn't know. I needed to get somebody here so that I could find out how bad it was, whether or not we needed to cancel church. And I'd have sure hated to have to cancel church and prevent, what's his name, Artorius Bjorn Lacey. Artorius Bjorn Lacey. Well, that means, Artorius means son of a bear. Bjorn means bear. He's also a warrior. I don't know what Lacey means. It's just a tag on the end there. No, that's his given name from his father's side. And so I don't, what are we calling him? Bear? That's what I told him. I looked it all up when they told me what his name was going to be. I said, this sounds like a Lacey deal. And so I said, huh? Yeah, that's what they told me. But you are a Lacey. See, I mean, you did, you know, I don't know where you got, I don't know where that rubbed off on you. But anyway, but when I looked it up, I said, well, I'm going to call him Bear. I don't know what they're going to call him. But I wouldn't have. I'd have called him whatever you told me we was going to call him. But anyway, this is his first service, and we're glad he's here today, aren't we? Aren't we thankful for this new member? He didn't have a choice in it. He just was made a member by attrition. So anyway, we've been missing Brother Josh and Sister Amber, and waiting to get to see this little fella. So anyway, we're thankful for him, and then I counted, well, when I got up to over 20, I quit counting how many people wasn't here today that are out for different reasons, sick and out of town and had to work out of town or had to work. So Sister Sandra had car trouble, and then there's some, I don't know where they're at. I don't know, you know, I ain't been able to keep up with all of them. But anyway, we're thankful for everyone that's here today, and thankful that we're, like I said, able to have church. We're just trying to stay off of that wet carpet back there as much as possible. You can go through this door, and there's a door that goes to the ladies' restroom right through this door here to the left. You won't have to go back there and get on the wet carpet. And then all the men, you can come up on the platform. There's 2 restrooms back here. Just don't any of the ladies use the restroom up here. Well, it's really not enough of us. Just use the men's restroom, and that way the ladies can use the ladies if they want to back here behind the platform. So we'll have it dried up and everything back in order next week. And but anyway, I'm thankful for you know, God's touch in our lives. Before I say any more, though, this sister, a visitor. What was your name? Cooper. Okay. Evidently, she is a friend of Sister Alexander, and as I saw when she came in, I saw when their eyes met, she knew she was in the right place, and then she moved over there and sat with Sister Alexander. So we're glad you're here. We appreciate you being here today, and but I'm thankful today for the body of Jesus Christ. We have this missionary work over in the Dominican Republic, and God sent me over there in February of 2001. And I just, it's not, I didn't establish that work. The Lord did. He just used me. And, but God's blessing over there. There's, in the United States of America today, it's hard to find hungry people. It just is. And, but over there in the Dominican Republic, people are hungry. And the churches over there, they're not growing by individuals, they're growing by churches. We've had 7 new churches come in this year, whole churches that have come in among us and are working with us. And some of those new pastors and new people, I'm working, these Zoom meetings are very profitable. We didn't even know anything about them until COVID hit. But now, we have these Zoom meetings where people can get on what's called Zoom. If you don't know, I think all of y'all know here, because we have Zoom meetings on Thursday nights. And you can see everybody, except there is a convenience of being able to turn your video off where no one can see you. And if you've got your pajamas on, we just want you to leave it turned off. But it is nice when you can see people. It's just something about being able to see somebody's face. Something about seeming like there's a togetherness there. Not everybody can. Brother Paul David, he's a lot of times driving a truck. He drives Monday through Friday normally and over the road, and so, but he's got his phone on and he can hear it. And he can talk if he wants to. We can hear him. But we started I have Zoom meetings for the Dominican Republic and Mexico on Monday nights. It's 7 o'clock at night, which it's 8 o'clock in the Dominican Republic when we have daylight service time. If it's not daylight service time, it's 2 hours later there. So I have it at 6 then, and they get it at 8. But then I moved it to 7 when we had daylight savings time, and so it's 8 o'clock their time. But Mexico's same time as ours. So anyway, have Zoom meetings in Spanish. I talk in English, but I have an interpreter that interprets it into Spanish. So we have the Spanish Zoom meeting on Monday nights. Then we have the local Bible study on Thursday nights here. And then on Saturday nights at 7 o'clock, I have a Zoom meeting for all these new churches, new pastors, and new ministers in the Dominican Republic that have come in. And I'm working on giving them history and foundation. It's difficult to give this message to just anybody in Christianity. That may sound strange, to some people, but to us it doesn't sound that strange because first I worked on them with the history. A lot of people don't know that the early church fell away. Last night I was talking, and there was a new pastor on there, and he said, "Can you explain to us why the New Testament church fell away?" And I had just spent probably 20 minutes explaining why it fell away. But he didn't get it. And so I said, well, I'll explain it again. And a lot of people don't understand that when God started with the Jews, way back when he made a covenant with Abraham and then called the Jews out of Egypt after 430 years of slavery in Egypt. And think about that. God was in that. God was in putting his people in slavery for 430 years. Wouldn't have done you any good for God to get us out of this slavery, because he already had prophesied there's going to be in slavery for 430 years. You just had to serve God. And did you know that's the way it is today? You have to serve God in whatever condition you're in. God's not always going to change it for you. If you petition God and it works in His will for your life or for His overall plan, He may move for you. You know, He did find a way to extend King Hezekiah's life for 15 years after he already had pronounced he's going to die. Well, God does, He can change if He fit it into His plan. But there were only 70 souls that went into Egypt when God sent Joseph to Egypt and brought Jacob, his father and brethren, into Egypt. There were just 70 souls of them. It's still a fathom to me that God kept them there for 430 years to multiply the people of Jacob, or Israel. God changed his name to Israel, and God multiplied them to make a nation out of them. God used Egypt to do that. You remember they got to being so many of them that Pharaoh said, let's kill every boy baby. Let's kill all of them. When they're born, you midwives kill them. If they're boys, kill them. Because there's getting to be more of them than there are of us, and before long they're going to take over. But God put it in the heart of the midwives. They couldn't do that. And they began to ask them, why haven't you killed these boy babies? They said, because them women have babies so easy they have them before we can get there. Well, that's what I'm finding out in the Dominican Republic. They're having babies over there before I can do anything about it. God's doing something. And so when they left 430 years later, and God led them across the Red Sea, most people don't realize this, but they estimate that there was over 3 million Jews that went across the Red Sea and that Moses led across the wilderness for 40 years. I think that's a wrong estimation. I was thinking about it in the bed last night. Because there were 622,550 men 20 years old and older who could go to war. That didn't count the old feeble guys and the blind people and crippled people that couldn't go to war, or the boys that were under 20 years old. So if they were over 20, I said, okay, maybe a lot of them got married late. You know, so I took 20% of them. There still would have been 500,000 of them that could go to war that were 20 and old, that were older than 20. 20% of them that were older than 20. Now, how many wives did they have in Israel? And how many kids did everybody have? I mean, you have to estimate maybe 10 that every man that was married had 2 or 3 wives and 2 or 3 kids by each wife, and that's really honing it down, I think. But if there was 10 per family and there's 500,000 men, that's 500,000 people. I mean, not 500,000, 500,000. So 10 times 500,000 is 500,000 people. But let's just go with the low estimate, 3 million. And then that didn't count the Levites. So the Levites were counted. Every little boy baby above a month old was counted if they were of the tribe of Levi. And there was 4 groups of them. There was Moses and Aaron's family that was in one encampment around the tabernacle. Then there was the Kohathites, which was on the south encampment around the tabernacle. Then there was the Gershonites. These were all sons of Levi. And then there was the Meraris on the north side encampment. There was 225,800 or something like that of them. And that don't count their wives or kids. Well, it would count the boys, but it didn't count the girls. There was a herd of people out there in that wilderness. At least 3 million. I say there's probably more than 5 million. You know, and I thought about it. I thought, you know, the tabernacle was 150, it was a foot